They kept them in a huge bowl on the coffee table. I'd pore over them, sort them into stacks, and wait until the late afternoon of January 1st to decide. Some were big, some small, some simple, some ornate. I'd marvel at the colors and styles, the prints, patterns, and fonts. As a child, I have fond memories of visiting my grandparents in California over the winter holidays. We escaped the frozen landscape of Detroit for the sunny, mountainous splendor of Palm Springs. We traded snowsuits for swimsuits and sleds for pool rafts. We delighted in the beautiful twinkling lights of the Rancho Las Palmas Country Club and downtown shopping area, and walked up and down the pristine golf course hills to exercise with my grandmother early in the mornings. We were 3 generations enjoying lunches out on the patio with overflowing bowls of fresh seafood and gorgeous local fruits like juicy papaya and fat dates that hung thick from the tall palms just days before. We ventured to Disneyland and the La Brea Tar Pits and the Chinese Theater to see the famous movie stars' handprints and footprints in the cement. But just as memorable was looking through the hundreds of holiday and New Year's cards that my grandparents received from friends, family, and business associates around the world. In the quiet mornings or afternoons when we were without a formal activity, I found myself drawn to the huge pile of cards, marveling at the realization that my papa and Peggy knew so many people, and the huge variety of cards that were exchanged was a reflection of that. And ultimately, I would choose the best card, the annual winner of the holiday card collection. I still enjoy getting holiday and New Year's cards. It's delightful to see what families select. Children growing up, the picture-perfect moments of the year captured in color or a smattering of highlights. And in addition to cards, there's phone calls, voicemail messages, texts, emails, e-greetings, and memes. They come from near and far, those close to us and familiar, those we know less well. Words like happy, healthy, sweet, joyful, and prosperous are featured. All words we've likely heard in the last couple of days as we've received wishes from friends and family as we've entered this new year. It's nice, it's optimistic, it's warm. In this week's Torah portion, the last in the book of Genesis, our patriarch Jacob is dying. He summons his sons to surround him and announces what's to happen to them in the days to come. Most of us have seen a scene like this on television or in the movies. The patriarch on his deathbed tells his family how much he loves them and how wonderful they are, and then fades from the world. But our Bible story doesn't follow the script and does not leave our ancestors with phrases of nicety and compliment. Rather, our patriarch is bluntly honest in the evaluation of his sons. He tells Reuben that he is as unstable as water, accuses Simeon and Levi of lawlessness and fierce anger, and pronounces Issachar as a strong-boned animal. He goes on to tell Joseph that he is a wild donkey, and Benjamin that he is a ravenous wolf. Can you imagine the last words from your father? On this Shabbat that so closely follows the festivity and goodness of New Year's wishes, Jacob's blunt descriptions of his sons stand in stark contrast. Commentaries to the Torah ask the question, why was he so critical of his sons, especially at the very end of his life? Rabbi Leah Mulstein introduces this section of text in her Devar Torah, Gathered for the Future. She writes, at the end of Genesis, the narrative lens widens. After a book shaped by ruptures and reconciliations, Jacob's final act in Parshat Vayechi is not to bless each son in isolation, but to summon them together. The double command, hasvu, which is gather yourselves, and hikatzvu, which is signals a divisive shift to assemble, are in stark contrast. The future of the covenant will not be carried by solitary heroes. It'll be shaped by people who learn to stand side by side, even when their histories, temperaments, and destinies diverge. Jacob's words are not predictions in the modern sense. They are assignments. Each son receives a vision shaped by his character, his strength, and his failings. Their futures are distinct, uneven, and unperfect. Yet the meaning of the moment lies not in the individuality of the blessings, but in their shared horizon. The sons must hear one another's destinies to understand their own. Jacob offers them not a map, but a collective responsibility that can be met only together. One theory suggests that Jacob's evaluation of his sons was meant to be helpful to them. While his words were sharp and may have even felt insulting, they were meant to teach the sons an important lesson about their strengths and weaknesses. This idea suggests that as a parent, Jacob felt it his sacred responsibility to be totally honest with his sons and to say things that nobody else could or would say to them. The commentators suggest that Jacob's goal in being so bluntly honest was to help them find their true and proper identity and prevent them from spiraling deeper into bad characteristics. Another interpretation suggests that Jacob's fierce honesty came from his need to pass on the leadership of his family to the most qualified son. The characterization of each son's strengths and weaknesses was done aloud because he wanted each one to appreciate his conclusions and understand why he disqualified them from leading the Jewish people. This text begs the question, what does it mean to be a truth teller? So often we say what is nice and kind and sounds good, but this text pushes that convention for the sake of future good and of peoplehood. What our patriarch says to his children does not come from a place of meanness or nastiness, but stands instead as a strong and courageous commitment to being honest and demonstrates a loyalty to others. Whether or not we agree with Jacob's process and the way that he spoke to his sons, what emerges is a stunning portrait of what it took our patriarch to be an effective leader in his time and with his children. So listen and consider the traits that disqualified the sons from leadership. Being unstable, using violence or force, always looking for profit, using others to fight your battles, sniping at others behind their backs, weakly giving in to your opponents, serving others but not commanding respect, being hated and distrusted by one's family, and lacking balance of judgment and concern for others. This is a deplorable list of characteristics, thousands of years old, from our holiest text. And it still speaks to us in modern times. Just like Jacob, we would never select anyone with these personality flaws to be our leader. We find reassurance that our text, though, is not all negative. As Jacob addresses Judah, we learn these qualities that deemed him worthy of leadership. To be trusted and accepted by one's family, brave and successful in battle, steady, thoughtful, dependable, and to be clear about your goals and determined to fulfill them. So perhaps it is more accurate to understand that Jacob did not speak to his sons in order to hurt their feelings or cause any bitterness between them, but rather to elucidate the characteristics he recognized that a leader must have and why he selected Judah to be that leader. Should we not be guided by the same principles? On this first Shabbat of 2026, with all the sweet, good, happy, generous, and optimistic words and wishes in our ears and in front of our eyes with the lovely and beautiful cards that we receive from friends and family, we read Jacob's blunt testament to his sons. They seem to stand in stark contrast to one another. Let us, with our brains and our hearts and our spirits, find a place between the flowery, lovely kindness and the important tones of honesty. May each of us have the insight and courage to recognize our traits of strength, leadership, honesty, and discernment, and work to help them shine ever more brightly to bring about good and blessing. Amen.